What's up, folks? It is Brian Jester, co-founder here at Occupy Fantasy. And we're back once again with some PGA DFS picks and lineup advice, both FanDuel and DraftKings, this week for the WGC FedEx St. Jude Invitational. In this video, we're going to use some of the tools at OccupyFantasy.com to give you the top plays for this week, lineup construction strategies for both low risk and high risk contests, some projected ownership discussion, as well as betting market updates as of the recording of this video Wednesday afternoon. Before we get started, go ahead and click that subscribe button below. That way you get access to all of our latest videos as soon as they're released. Our next video coming up will be UFC DFS, released on Friday, so go ahead and click subscribe. Give us a thumbs up if you like this video. Any comments, questions you have about PGA DFS or the slate in particular, go ahead and comment below. And as always, give us your favorite play. Comment below with who you think will score the most DraftKings points or win the tournament this week. Also be sure to join us tonight, Wednesday evening, 10 p.m. Eastern, live on Twitch as we answer your questions. Twitch.tv/OccupyFantasy. Link is in the description below. Go follow us there. And if you miss it, you can always catch the replay over there on Twitch as well. Reminder that Twitch subscribers do get access to our Discord channel, where a lot of our viewers and members are chopping it up, talking about various daily fantasy sports. Alright, so this video, we're going to try to keep it under 10 minutes. Make that promise every week. We'll see if we can do it this week. So this is what you see on screen here. This is Xander, our cover boy for the PGA Daily Plug, OccupyFantasy.com. Reminder, this is our write-up. It's done by Niramata, a top PGA DFS player. He was quick to remind me this week that this time last year during this event, he won a big GPP, and he puts his thoughts on his top plays as well as the lineup strategies you need to think about and use for this particular event. Now, this event is different than most of the events in the past because there is no cut. We won't be sitting refreshing our computer watching the shot tracker Friday afternoon. Well, we probably still will be, but we won't be sweating the cut this time around. There's less than 80 golfers in this field, so all of them make the cut, which means we get all of our golfers playing 4 rounds of golf unless they randomly withdraw, which means a variety of different things, and we'll talk about that here in a second. So let's talk about this course really quickly. This is, if I can scroll down here in the Daily Plug, so it's TPC Southwind. It's in Tennessee, just outside of Memphis, and they held this event last year at the same course, and this course has really small greens, and we're back to looking at golfers who are strategic plotters, really good with their approach shots. Again, this is a tough par 70 course, as Niramata points out here in the Daily Plug, and you can't take off one shot because you're going to end up in the water or off the fairway. And as we look at this week, the top most important metrics you should be looking at, and again, you can get these easily on the PGA Tour website. As always, we have greens and regulation, birdies are better, ball striking, our putting variance metric that we created that goes into the Occupy model that ranks every player on the slate. But then really important this week are approach and scrambling for this particular golf course. So let's go back up here. As we see, these are the favorites to win. John Rahm coming off his big tournament recently. JT, Bryson, Rory. I mean, it's a who's who. This is an invitational event. It's a star-studded field. And as a result, we end up seeing, especially in a no-cut event, we see a lot of stars and scrubs type lineups. So if you're new to DFS or you've never heard that term, basically what it means is we have a top-heavy approach. We'll have a couple golfers who are really expensive in our lineup, and then to fit them in, we have a couple guys at the bottom of the pricing tier, the bottom of the salary range to help fit those guys in. So maybe a couple 10 or 11K golfers and a couple 6K golfers over on DraftKings. But Niramata always comes in every Wednesday into the Daily Plug and posts his betting market update. If you recall this video last week, or if you remember and you checked out the Daily Plug, that there was about 100 people on this list of line moves Wednesday afternoon. It was really difficult to decipher. Not so much this week so far. We see only 4 golfers have seen a significant line move at Pinnacle, which is one of the sharpest offshore sports books in the sports betting world. It's only seen 4 golfers have their lines move in a favorable way. Paul Casey, 15%. So just for example, if he was 100 to 1 to win the tournament, a 15% move means he's now 85 to 1. That's not the exact numbers for Paul Casey, just an example. Xander, very nice to see. Who is our cover boy? Niramata wrote him up in the plug. He does rank #1 at the top of the occupied model this week. Sharp bettors are on him as well. 12% move in his odds to win the tournament. And then we also have Patrick Reed and Tyrrell Hatton as D4 golfers. Now, as Nero points out, I imagine that there will be some more movement later tonight. So be sure to check our Discord channel. Be sure to check Pinnacle Sports. Be sure to check whatever sportsbook you use. There should be more movement tonight. As a result, I think I'm going to wait a little bit longer to create my lineups than I normally do. Normally, after I post this video, I go in and make my lineups. I think I'm going to wait until that late update tonight to start fitting in and start creating my lineups. All right, so we talked about, I mentioned it briefly, the lineup construction ideas this week, and I'm going to actually scroll down. We're going to fly down here, and I'm actually going to give this away. This is normally behind the paywall in the daily plug at occupyfantasy.com, but Niramata talks about his general strategy for the week, how you should build low-risk lineups, how you should build high-risk lineups, and what he talks about here is there are 2 ways to find leverage in these types of no-cut events. As you see here, I'm going to highlight it here in the plug. One way is have a balanced approach, because more often than usual, we do see people and DFS players go with a stars and scrubs lineup build because there's no risk of those 6K golfers or 7K golfers on FanDuel missing the cut and blowing up your lineup. We get all 4 rounds of action for those guys. So a lot of people will gravitate more towards that because they can fit in 2 studs, even 3 if you count the 9K guys, by using that type of approach. So the alternative is build a balanced approach. More people aren't going to use that type of lineup because of the no cut. Or what you can do, you can still go stars and scrubs, but you get 2 low-owned top-tier golfers. Remember, there's a ton of studs in this event, and we're going to see guys like John Rahm, Xander near the top of the salary range who are going to get a ton of ownership. Instead, you could play, and this might make you throw up in your mouth a little bit, you could play Brooks Koepka. You could play Dustin Johnson. These 2 guys are going to be 10% owned or less despite being world-class golfers. Brooks is the defending champion. DJ, despite looking as horrible as possible over the last couple of weeks, did win an event 3 weeks ago. It's not like his form is that bad. Meanwhile, Brooks has been dealing with some injury issues. A lot of his quotes this week are positive, and we get the coaching narrative back this week. Colin Morikawa got his coaching talent working with him a couple weeks ago. He won the event in Muirfield Village. Billy Horschel, who was the cover boy here a couple weeks ago, got his coach coming to town and working with him. He finished top 15 at the event. Now we get word that Brooks was working with his coach on Sunday to adjust some stuff, especially on his approach game. And can the coach narrative hit 3 times in a row? Makes a ton of sense. We've talked about in the past why that is the case. So we get Brooks with the coach narrative. We get him with the under-the-radar, lower-owned stud narrative. And he had some quotes yesterday in his presser saying that his game is not that far off. He feels as good as he has in a while. So it looks like a good spot to get a really low-owned option, and I think we'll see some line movement at Pinnacle for Brooks later this evening. So again, it can be really tough to click add to the lineup on DJ and Brooks, but if you're going stars and scrubs, that could be a great way in high-risk contests to help differentiate yourself this week. All right, so we got Xander leading the model, daily plug, betting markets. Paul Casey getting a big boost in the betting markets. I'll give you 2 more names that the Occupy model likes. Ches Reavie near the top despite his lower price tag. And as always, Corey Connors always pops in the model. Even pops this week despite the star-studded field around him. I think that will do it for this video. We talked about the lineup construction, talked about some of the betting market moves, talked about some projected ownership, gave you some top plays. Let's name 4 or 5 of them for you. For more information, go to occupyfantasy.com. You can read the daily plug written by Niramata, a top PGA DFS player. He's really confident in his approach every week, but especially this week after he won a big GPP during this event last year. And of course, the Occupy model, which ranks every golfer on both FanDuel and DraftKings on over 50 different metrics, our proprietary model that takes a lot of different factors into account. Go check it out, occupyfantasy.com. Reminder, we're going live on Twitch tonight, twitch.tv/occupyfantasy. We'll take all of your questions live. But if you don't want to stop by, drop a comment or question below. We'll get back to you later tonight. And one final request, click that subscribe button. That way you get access to all of our videos. We'd appreciate it. All right, Brian Jester, Occupy Fantasy. Good luck this week, and we'll see you soon.